Good evening, Coyote fans. Welcome back. Episode 16 of the Howling podcast tonight. My name is Jordan Decker. Tonight, I am once again joined by Chad Berger and Mark Wendt. As always, catch us on X at HowlWithUs3. You can catch me on X at JD605, Mark at WDiamond605, and Chad at Chad Berger. That's Berger, Birger, at Chad Berger. Catch all of us on X and the Howling Podcast now on Facebook. As always, quick disclaimer. The opinions on this show strictly ours, not of those of the university or the athletic department. Tonight's show, once again, brought to you by the Wakanda Peach Company out of Burbank, South Dakota. Wakanda Peach Company, where all your peach dreams can come true. Fun episode tonight as we recap the week that was. Look forward to what's ahead in Coyote Athletics. So with that, I welcome in Chad and Mark. Gentlemen, good to see you.
How we doing?
Jordan. Yeah, let's go.
Fired up. What a weekend. What a week.
So I think I mentioned to Mark, like right when we logged on here before the show started, but this may have been one of the most fun and best weeks so far this year. I mean, as far as school years go, this has been spectacular. We just had a good one. So
I don't know if my red glasses were on or if I just noticed it, but just driving around, walking around different locations in Sioux Falls stores, a lot of people wearing red around Sioux Falls, at least we're like in our neck of the woods. So it's good to see. I think the Coyote pride is ever growing, as we know, and it's fun, right? And people, whether you're wearing it at church today, I am wearing my coat, and a guy just like winks at me and said, "Hey, go Yotes. How about that?" And then the next question, of course, is, you going out to Bozeman? Our priest was like, "You going out to Bozeman?" I'm like, I don't think I can swing that if I have to save up for potentially January 6th.
Right. It'd be really cool to go out there. Here, it's a great spot.
Oh, I would love to go out there. I don't know. There's still 6 days, so maybe I'll change my mind.
Exactly.
yeah, we'll have to figure out a way to make a graphic of the three of us in a clown car or something heading out on I-90 out to Bozeman. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But make sure to follow along, as Jordan said. We're on Twitter and Facebook at HowlWithUs3 on both of those places. So feel free to join. Jordan, that's going to be our thumbnail for the show. Thanks for doing that.
I increased the size of the cup so it could cover my face while I took a sip.
All right. Well, speaking of taking sips, let's go ahead and start off the show with this. So, not even just a sip. Mark, there was a photo that surfaced shortly after our show last week where you were chugging a beer during tip-off of one of the men's basketball games. And so the photo came out. I think it was with the time change for the game for Saturday, obviously with everything going on with the football game and everything. They posted a photo about the time change, and sure enough, there you are in the background, just hammering your beverage at the tip. And so Tuesday night, we got together, the three of us, and we had a little fun with it. See if we can pull up the photo here, but John Thayer actually came up to us before the game and said, "What is this, a beer chugging contest?" And so we'll put this on the screen right now. This is the tip-off of the men's game on Tuesday night, and you can see the three of us right here in row 2 wearing our black shirts for the blackout, and Jordan, me, and Mark are all chugging our beverages at that point. So
my arm looks funky as hell in that picture. Like, you guys can't – you're wearing long sleeves. I'm wearing a short sleeve. There's this pasty white arm just in the middle.
Looks like
that was fun.
Shirt. It's tradition now. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry. It's tradition.
And you too, for those that are listening, if you sit in 106, every tip-off, there's someone there taking a picture. If you want to be included in the sip tip, whoa. The tip sip? Are we calling it the tip sip?
We got a hashtag.
Yep. Hashtag tip sip. Man, this is why you listen to the show. But you too could be a part of it. Maybe we'll start something here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if you're watching tonight on YouTube, go ahead and comment. Join the live chat as it's going on. We would love to hear your thoughts. Maybe respond to some of the questions, comments on the air during the show tonight. So go ahead and join that live chat and feel free to play along. But we're going to talk real quickly about the week that was in USD Athletics. And this week, big week for the Yotes. Basketball, women's and men's, and football played. Football obviously had the big win over UC Davis, 35-21. Yes, Saturday. Men's basketball had a couple wins. First off, over Wyoming, 82-81, and then just soundly handed it to Western Illinois on Saturday morning, 89-66. But women's basketball team had a rough week, losing at Northern Iowa. And then just this afternoon, hosting Wyoming and kind of getting systematically dismantled in that one. So not a great result for either of those games, but for the women. But overall, a really good week for the Yotes. And I don't know if you guys have any comments or thoughts about any of those results.
I think the men's basketball team is worth a watch if you haven't been out to see them yet. Like they're really fun to watch. A lot has been made about our full court press and getting more possessions, and we're up and down. And when things are clicking, they're a really fun team, and I think they could be a factor come March. Really.
Yeah, men's basketball is definitely you should definitely go see them. Not to repeat what you just said, Mark, but the high scoring, I don't know if they're still number one in the NCAA in total points scored, but they're definitely up there. I think Jay Elson tweeted that out, right? They were the first to score 1,000 points this year. They're fast paced, and I mentioned this last week, but what you can notice is the endurance getting better with them. So like the free throw shooting, wishes we had more. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're making more, right? Like their legs are getting under them, or excuse me, their endurance is getting better. And teams don't know they're not figuring it out. Wyoming had a tough time against it. And that was a great basketball game, but this is what non-con is for, right? Or what does Coach Williamson call it? The
preseason.
This is what the preseason is all about. And yeah, the Summit League folks that cover the Summit League, they're taking note as far as like USD being a legit contender in the Summit League this year for men's basketball. They've got the scoring, and the defense is improving every game. Oh, Chad's on mute. I chart nominee.
We'll go ahead and break down the men's games and the women's games here later in the program, and come back to those. But first off, let's recap what happened on Saturday in the football game. South Dakota moved to 11-2 on the season, and more importantly, moves on to the national semifinals after defeating UC Davis 35-21. This one was in the Dakota Dome. Attendance listed was a little bit over 6,000, and the facilities staff at USD did crank the temperature in the dome down 1 more degree this week, trying to make things a little bit difficult on Davis. All season long, we've been playing at 72. Last week, we went down to 71. This week, we just played at 70. I mean, we're going to see a little bit cooler temperatures.
Did someone leave a window open?
I don't know how this happens, but yeah, very interesting.
Bottom of it.
Mind games.
But the good thing was the Yotes got off to a good start in this one. Got ahead 14-7 in the first quarter, and at the end of the first quarter, and really had multiple opportunities there in the second quarter to extend that lead a little bit. Weren't able to do that, but still had the lead going into halftime. And then in the third quarter, defense just held strong and didn't allow Davis to put any points up. And so the Yotes were able to make it a 2-possession lead and then hold on in the fourth quarter for that 35-21 victory. We'll pull up some scoring summary information here. JJ Galbraith, good to have him back.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, yep. He caught an 8-yard touchdown pass from Aiden Bauman. This was with about 10 minutes left in the first quarter, 2-minute, 48-second drive. And so the Yotes go up 7-0 after the Will Leyland kick. UC Davis did respond on the ensuing possession with a Chaz Davis 13-yard pass from Miles Hastings. And so they tied it up about a little over halfway through the first quarter. But then number 5 did some number 5 things, and Travis Tice scored on a short 2-yard touchdown run after a huge 71-yard pass play to Karan Adams. I think, Mark, right before that play, what did I say we needed to do?
Throw it deep?
I think we said we need to throw it deep to number 4, if I remember correctly. And
yeah.
They did. So, Jordan, I've got that kind of inside info, inside scoop there to the coaching staff.
Will you give yourself a ribbon on the bottom of the screen for that one?
I can. Yeah, I can.
Knows the next play coming?
Well, not every time, but once in a while I get lucky. Then J.J. Galbraith in the second quarter caught a 7-yard touchdown pass from Aiden Bauman to, like I said earlier, extend that Yotes lead to 14 points. And then at that point, it was, responding. So Mateo Perez, scored on a 10-yard pass for Davis. And then the Yotes squandered an opportunity right at the end of the first half, as I said earlier. But fortunately, in the third quarter came out, and defense was pretty solid in keeping the Aggies from reaching the end zone in the third quarter. And Carter Bell caught a 17-yard touchdown pass from Aiden Bauman to extend that lead to 28-14 with 18 seconds left in the third quarter. And at that point, Mark and I were featured on the broadcast on TV. So FYI, in case anyone wants to go back and look for us on the broadcast, it was on ESPN Plus, I believe. Fourth quarter, Trent Tompkins caught a 4-yard touchdown pass for Davis, but then Travis Tice did some Travis Tice things and scored on a 7-yard touchdown run to give the Yotes the 35-21 victory. Guys, we were all there. Impressions from the game?
Kind of an outlier of a game as far as what we've seen so far this year, especially from our offense. We turned the ball over quite a bit more than we have previous games. And luckily for us, we forced a lot more too. I think there was 8 total for the game, something like that. So, but like you say, second half defense came out and kept them for the most part at bay, and we were able to open up that 2-score lead. And the offense, I heard Aiden say that the offense struggled, but we still scored 35 points. So I'll take an offense that will struggle and put up 35 points any Saturday. So excited to see what happens this Saturday.
Yeah, I thought, guys, overall, the defense played phenomenal. I mean, I don't know, this is just me, but if you can average a score or less a quarter, giving up, I think that's a solid defensive effort. And one thing I noticed too on those interceptions that I want to make sure I get the name right, Miles Hastings, UC Davis's quarterback. There might have been a couple of those picks that are uncharacteristic of him, but I thought for the most part, those 5 interceptions were caused by our defense wreaking havoc in the backfield. Like, he did not look comfortable back there, which is a good sign, especially going into Montana State against Tommy. He's an All-American. I think he's a finalist for the Walter Payton, right? So here's another one that we're going up against that I think we've got the defense that can contain him a little bit, but he's going to be a difference maker in the game in Montana State. But anyways, going back to UC Davis, I thought defense played phenomenal. Offense, I mean, coulda, woulda, shoulda, those 2 turnovers. I'm right with you there, Mark. Like, we don't do that, and that's 2 touchdowns right there. So I remember Coyote fans after the game, they're like, man, we should have put a 50 burger on them today. It's like, well, that's playoff football. That stuff happens. It's uncharacteristic for our offense to do that. But really happy with the way that they fought through adversity and the grit that the guys showed. And one thing Bob said too, and I think John and Coach mentioned this on the radio broadcast when we were listening on the way home, the depth really showed. Like, when the left side of the line was going down with injuries, the depth came into play as well. And it was as if we didn't skip a beat, whether it was the line on the defense, like the depth played a factor into the game as well. So great job, guys.
Yeah, shout out to all the guys that played on Saturday. They all did a fantastic job. We'll highlight a few of the statistics from the game. Aiden Bauman finished the game 14 for 22, 253 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions. Travis Tice had 18 carries for 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also caught 2 passes for 44 yards. Karan Adams, as I mentioned earlier, had that one catch for 71 yards. Carter Bell had 4 catches for 68 yards and a touchdown. And J.J. Galbraith, coming off of an injury, been out for a few weeks here. I think since the South Dakota State game, if I remember correctly. But J.J. came back and caught 6 catches, for 45 yards.
Oh my goodness, what was the score?
Yeah, exactly. That would be a record. 2 touchdowns for JJ. So just just showing the level of trust that Aiden and JJ have together was great. And then the defense. I mean, Gary Bryant, 15 total tackles, an interception, a fumble recovery. I mean, Nate Ewell, 11 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 forced fumble, 1 PBU. We had, I think that was from the week before, but Blake Holden and Shaheed Barrows all had 8 tackles. I mean, we were all over the place defensively and just stuffing them, just absolutely stuffing them. So some really good play defensively, offensively. Guys made plays when they needed them, and great job by the Yotes on Saturday. All right. Well, let's go ahead.
JJ, sorry for the delay. Welcome back, JJ. That was awesome to watch. I'm sure he was thrilled, and that was great. I'm really glad he's back.
Yes.
Just a dynamic weapon in the passing game for the Yotes.
And Coach Nielsen did say in the post game, he said he had it about 80%. So they wanted him back in, but they anticipate him being fully ready to go this Saturday.
Well, now, this is from the NCAA website. Now the Yotes move on to play at Montana State. Montana State was the number 1 overall seed, South Dakota the 4. And so that game will be at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday the 21st. The other side of the bracket has the North Dakota State, South Dakota State matchup. That'll be at 11 a.m. So very interesting on how things work out. Do we know the television?
ABC.
Yep.
ABC. Okay. Yep. So ABC will broadcast the game. So if you're unable to make it out to Bozeman, tune in, watch the game, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great week of football.
What's amazing, guys, and you know this too, is the college football playoff starts this Friday, obviously, but the 2 games, I don't know the teams exactly, but I believe the Ohio State, who they're playing, falls in that 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock time slot, but they're on TNT. So Turner must have the rights for some of those games. So this is really cool that the FCS gets the 2 semifinal games on ABC, and they're going up against the college football playoff, but not everyone has TNT. So it's cool. It's a unique opportunity. Really quick watch party. I know that JJ's in Sioux Falls is doing that again. That is 21 years and older. We're going to work on doing the Sandbar and Grill on the west side of Sioux Falls for a watch party. So more details to come. We did that for the Team Up North game, and we had about 50 folks show up, and it was fun. So the staff over at the Sandbar was great. So we'll announce something once we get it confirmed.
And Burgers by You will potentially show both. Will most likely show both games as well. The BB's Pub and Burgers by You, northwest side of Sioux Falls. Go ahead and join there. It's right by the USD Sioux Falls campus on Marion Road and 60th Street North. So that's another great location to catch the game. Do not go to Credo's Pub, the sister pub, though. That's where the green folks go and watch the game. So don't go to that one. Make sure you go to the Burgers by You building and watch in the BB's Pub location.
We'll reach out to BB's Pub. if we can get there, that's close by USD Sioux Falls. I like that location.
Yep. They will have the game on. I'm absolutely 100% positive of it. So. All right. So, what do we think about the opponent this week, Jordan?
Montana State. Tough. It's the best team in the FCS right now besides USD. So they have, let me pull it up here. They have an All-American, let's see, too many tabs open. So Tommy Malott is his name, a quarterback for Montana State. So they played UC Davis not more than a month ago. I think it was mid-November. And they were up 30-8 after 3 quarters against UC Davis. And UC Davis crawled all the way back to get it to where they had an opportunity to tie the game at the end, or near the end of the game, on a 2-point conversion. Montana State picked it off. So just looking at the stats of that game, yes, it's kind of doing the comparison, even though it's a month away, but they're a really sound defensive team. They didn't have too many mistakes. Tommy Malott went 18-25 for 174, but on paper, this is kind of one of those things where I like how we match up against Montana State, especially on the defensive end. Offense, if we don't make mistakes, I think we can run with these guys. The weather shouldn't play too much of a factor. I was reading mid-40s for the game, but it's one hell of a crowd out there. They packed that place. It's a great fan base. It's a great environment. Montana State both have great home environments. So we just got to keep our composure, keep the penalties at a minimal, and just stay focused on the goal. The job's not done yet, but it's a hell of an opponent. We just got to take care of business that we've been doing the last month or so.
I think that the number one question that people are going to ask the entire week is, are you going? Are you going?
Yeah.
So as of right now, I am not planning on making the trip. Mark, are you heading out there?
I will have the girls this weekend, so I think we'll be watching the game in Burbank, South Dakota, unfortunately. So
I'll be staying behind. I can't swing it with the traveling we'll be doing for the holiday season. So if someone has room on their private jet, hit us up.
Yep. Yeah. That's you can see our Twitter handles here. Slide into the DMs if you want to.
Maybe someday I'll make it out there. It is a bucket list item to go out to Montana State and Montana. Those 2 outdoor stadiums out there. It looks like a great atmosphere. But I think the guys will be ready. They'll have a full week. We practice outside. So I don't think they'll be that team that shows up with their shirts off in warm-ups. That typically doesn't bode well for opposing teams when they do that.
All right. Well, we're excited for it. Yep. We're excited for it. Looking forward to the matchup this weekend, and we will have a full recap and rundown of everything on next week's show. We will have a show next Sunday night, and then we'll be off in 2 weeks because of the holiday break. So just kind of pay attention to our Twitter and Facebook and make sure you kind of keep up with what's going on in Coyote Athletics. Next up, we did get the opportunity to see the volleyball team on Tuesday night. And so we got a picture with the volleyball team guys. How cool was that?
That was fun. That was a fun day all around. Yeah, it was great to see them.
Yeah, that was awesome. They got recognized at halftime for their major accomplishment of winning the Summer League tournament. That was nice to meet some of them too. We got to get them on. Got to get them on the podcast.
Yeah, so if you're a volleyball player or coach and you want to join us, reach out. We'd love to have you on, talk a little bit about volleyball. But yeah, it was great. It was great meeting the ladies on Tuesday night. Congrats to them. We mentioned last week, congrats on the Summit League Tournament Championship. That was amazing. What a run. And we obviously see that, a couple of the teams that the Yotes played this season, Louisville, Creighton, still playing volleyball at this point in the season. So lots of good volleyball. And it was nice to have those ladies be kind enough to take a selfie. I always feel a little creepy when take a selfie with, young college ladies, but it was nice of them to come out and say, hey, yeah, come on over. You guys are pretty cool. We recognize you a little bit. So they allowed us to take a selfie with them. It was pretty fun.
Do you have any of them in I don't even know if I can ask that if you have any of them in class and they got extra credit for that picture. But
no, we'll have to talk about that later this season as well. But I do a promotion in my classes where if students come to a game and take a selfie with me, if they get Mark and you in there, Jordan, too, as well, that's very encouraged. But if they take a selfie with me, I do give them like a 1 bonus point on an assignment or something like that. And it's always funny because the kids love it. The students love it. We actually had one of the cheerleaders on Saturday at the football game stop Mark and I and say, hey, there you are. Can I take a selfie with you right now? And so it was always a neat experience. The people that sit near us in 106 at basketball games and volleyball games think we're absolutely crazy because all these college students keep coming down and taking photos with us. That's always a neat experience.
Do they not understand when they're sitting in the presence of greatness, of how many people come up and take pictures with you guys? And I mean, that game on Tuesday, it was celebrities galore, man. Like I kind of felt like we were at the NBA finals or something. We were stopping people. People were stopping us. We got to get an agent.
Yeah, we kind of do. Well, let's go ahead and dive into that game a little bit then. So Tuesday night, we mentioned earlier, the men's basketball team hosted the Cowboys of Wyoming, and you can see the three of us right here. This is a photo cred from Twitter. Mark, who has sent us this photo?
Cindy Brown is the photo taker of the next couple pictures, actually.
Yeah, so Cindy, great photos here. Got the three of us standing, and Mark's actually holding up the eye chart here. The three officials, Tony Meeks, Chad Barlow, and Vern Harris, before the game were very amused. Actually, Chad and Tony were amused. Vern was kind of not really having much
Vern
fun.
Probably didn't get much sleep the night before.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with Vern, but they were having a little fun, and Tony actually covered one of his eyes and was looking at it, and Chad was laughing and said that was awesome, and they were a good-natured crew. But on Tuesday night, the Yotes did defeat Wyoming 82-81, and this was a even back and forth matchup the entire contest. It was about as good of a game as I have seen in a long, long time. It was a spectacular basketball game. You can see the halftime score was 37 apiece, so going into the break tied up with Wyoming, and then come out and the Yotes put up 45 in the second half, and Wyoming was held to 44. So we end up winning 82-81 on that one. Attendance 1838, should have been a little bit better, but it was overall, it was a really good crowd, and the crowd was into the game. I don't know if it was us starting by chugging a beer at the tip off or what, but I mean, maybe it was us yelling at every single thing that happened on the court. But Coach Peterson just loved it. There was times where he didn't have to yell at the officials because we were letting them have the business. Vern Harris was probably not, the biggest fan of Chad Berger at the end of the night with as much grief as I was giving him. But
wasn't Vern in Las Vegas the next day? I think he was kind of focused on something else. Didn't he ref a game in Nevada or something?
He did, yeah. For those of you, I have this. I track referees, and so I did put something in one of the chats about Vern was doing a game somewhere else the next night. But yeah, interesting how these officials travel all the way around the country and get lots of stuff, as far as that goes. But yeah, I thought we had a great time overall. Yeah. What were some of your favorite memories, guys?
Well, I think Coach Peterson said it after the game, and I think he was right. He said that he felt like we were in control of the game, and that's weird to say in a tightly contested game. And I think I even mentioned to you guys at one point, it feels like we should be ahead by more. And we weren't. But just overall, it was, the crowd was engaged, and we just had an absolute blast from start to finish. So, like I said earlier, if you haven't seen a men's game, I really encourage you to come out come out and
Yeah,
watch them. They're fun.
Folks in Vermilion, I was, kid stuff going on at Tuesday night. That's hard. During the week, that's hard. But when we can get these non-con games, especially opponents of, from the Mountain West, like Wyoming, definitely go. Tickets aren't expensive to go to a basketball game, but if you can go this year for the guys' games and the girls' games, but go support them. You guys are right. It was kind of like we had this lead, and are my hands going to disappear? They sure are. So Wyoming would get close, and then we'd get that lead, 7, 8, 9 points, whatever, and then it would beat up to 3. They just never got past us. So to your point, it always felt like we should have been in more control than what it was, but hell of a ball game. Chase Forte. Do you have the stats, Chad, on the next slide by chance?
Well, since you bring it up, let's go ahead and take a look. We actually do have the stats here. Chase Forte had 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Caleb Stewart had 17 points, and Dre Bullock had 14 in the game.
And I think Chase hit 17 of those were in the second half. He had a little bit of foul trouble. Chase had a great game. He can just take over a game, and that confidence is growing. And it's not, for the most part, not bad shots he's getting up either. The 3-point 3-point wasn't the best, but you learn to adapt. I think we outscored him 42 to 30 in the paint. So it's fun to see, and I've said this every week. It's fun to see the growth of Cam and Ashton and how they're getting more minutes and how deep we are too. My goodness, 9, 10, 11, sometimes 12 guys playing. It's a great game, good win. This was a good win for us.
So, Mark, tell us about the picture here. What's going on there?
In addition to the beer chugging at tip-off, we've this was Chad's idea. Dre Bullock, not Trey. Sorry, Dre. Was on this week's program or this game's program, and every time he made a bucket or otherwise made a great play, we'd stand up and wave the program. And this is us post game. Making sure Dre knew we were rooting for him. So, like we said before, it was just an absolute blast of a game from start to finish, and even into the post game, as we'll see here shortly.
Yeah, I think that the program thing is really cool, and the players seem to enjoy it. Mark, I don't know if I can give away a secret here, but so we were holding those up, and Max Burchell actually tapped Dre on the shoulder and pointed him up at us while we were holding those up, and Dre looked and said, "That's awesome!" And then he actually waved at us as he was walking off, and it was pretty cool. And then Saturday, Caleb Stewart was on the program, and we did the same thing with him, and he really appreciated that as well. So it's kind of a cool thing, a neat thing. If you're at games, have fun.
Right.
Don't just sit there and do nothing. Have fun, enjoy it. The players want you to support them.
Mm-hmm.
And so if one of the ways you can support them is to hold up a program with a picture of them on it, do it. That's a great way to support those athletes out on the field.
And Chad, really quick too, like volleyball and basketball, both right after the games, they go shake the hands of kids and anyone, sit in court or when you walk down to courtside. They want to be engaged with the fans. So doing quirky little stuff, I'm not saying, we're all that with doing that poster thing, but it's a way to have fun with the student athletes. They don't want to come to a gym and then they go there, play ball and leave and not be engaged with their fans and supporters. So yeah, get involved down there. And if you got the kiddos and bring them to a game, get them down to is it the baseline? Do they do it at the baseline?
Yeah, head down underneath. So after they go through the handshake line in front of the scorer's table, they run around. They hit the bleachers in the end zone first, and then go around to the Core Trust Club side. And then
I love that. And the student athletes, I'm sure, love it too. They get to be a part of that. So
win or lose, they do that. Win or lose.
A great deal. You can see some of the other team statistics here. Free throws. Jordan mentioned earlier he wishes he would make more. That we would make more of them. Only 70% on the night, so that's one thing. Room for improvement there. But overall, the Yotes had a pretty solid night. And then, after the game, we just had a great time. Talk us through some of these photos, Mark.
Well, so Jay Elson would be top left as I'm looking at it. Thomas Jones, the public address announcer. We have John Thayer, the voice of the Coyotes. And someone known as the head coach of the men's basketball team, Coach Peterson, was kind enough to stop and take a photo with us. So, yeah, we made the rounds there post game. It was a lot of fun.
And this is blurry. Chad's blurry in the photo with John because I'm pretty sure John was going on the air as we took that picture. So, thanks everyone for taking those photos with us.
Oh, that was just a blast, guys. I had so much fun. And I'm going to say something about the Jay Elson thing. So Cole Larsh is one of, he sometimes does the graphics up on the video board, and one of the graphics that they put up there is actually like a graphic of Jay Elson like making weird faces at the opponents while they're shooting free throws. And so when they don't put it up there, I started yelling Jay Elson when the other team is shooting free throws for some random weird reason. And now it kind of stuck. And so it's my thing. So now every time the other opponents are shooting free throws, I yell Jay Elson when I'm trying to distract the opponent.
Sometimes it works.
Sometimes. Yep. Great time. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday night, I won an award. I didn't win an award. I was given an award on Wednesday night. So spent a little time in the Dome Club there on Wednesday night, and didn't post any photos here, but it was kind of a neat deal. The Beacom School of Business gave me an outstanding faculty award for teaching for last academic year, and so I was very honored to receive that. So had a great week there, and then Saturday rolled around and a couple more games going on, and so the first one was the basketball game against Western Illinois, and you can see here that the Yotes got off to a big lead right away, and then pretty much coasted to an easy victory, 89-66 against Western Illinois, improving the Yotes to 9-4 on the season. Attendance was 1,550 listed here. Didn't seem like it was as into it, maybe because of the just fantastic early start for the Yotes. I don't remember what was the run to start the game there, Mark. Do you remember?
No, I don't. But the game was never in doubt. We played really, really well. So we jumped on them early and really never looked back.
Yep, absolutely. And the nice thing was the officials all had short names that were easy to remember. And how many letters does Todd have, Mark?
It was a 29-9 lead.
29-9. Yeah, it was never in doubt there. You can also see we had a good time with a few people there. This is on the top picture here. This is Amanda. She works at Taco John's. She's every Tuesday when I walk in to the Vermilion Taco John, she always just yells Chad, and she remembers probably 95% of the people that she meets. She remembers their names. So she's just a spectacular person, and she always sees us at the games and comes up and says hi. So we took a picture with her on Saturday, and then you can see Marcus down here at the bottom. Marcus Destin.
My man.
Yep. He had a great week as well, and busy guy.
It was his birthday on Tuesday for the Wyoming game.
That's
Tuesday
right.
was his birthday. Yep. And he just, is a fun guy to be around, and he just a great dude. Back it up, Terry. Just like all the comments he makes, just sneaks in there and just fantastic.
Hey, and we put a plug in for us three to do either a timeout or halftime show where one of us shoots a layup, one of us 3-point, and then one the half court. So I don't know if we do it for charity. I don't know, whatever. But let's get us three there. I think it'd be hilarious in a good way.
Right.
So if you're listening and you can make this happen, let's do it. I already told game day experience folks, let's make it happen here. What would you guys do?
So
a layup, 3-point.
I'd shoot the layup. Yep. I'd shoot the layup. Yep.
Okay.
I want the 3-pointer myself.
Okay.
All right. I would take the half court. All right. I'm going to have to head over to the gym.
All right. Let's make it happen.
My
Let's
man,
go.
Jaron Duffy, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, Jaron, if you're listening, let's do the SDSU game, the men's game. We'll have 4,000 or 5,000 people there. What do you guys think? Should we do that one?
Thinking more like
no pressure. Yeah.
Mount Marty, maybe.
How about we do like St. Thomas? Well, that's still a big game.
They're all big games. They're all big. Every game is a
I
big game.
I realized that right after I said it. I'm like, oh, he's going to say everyone's a big game.
Absolutely. All right.
Sorry.
Well, let's go back and review some of the statistics from Saturday morning. Chase Forte, 21 points, 6 boards, 5 assists. Cameron Fens, big game, 17 points, 6 rebounds, couple big dunks in there as well. Isaac Bruns also had 13 points and 6 rebounds. As a team, the Yotes shot a little bit better from 3-point range, but still struggled a little bit from the free throw stripe, Jordan. Only 69.4% there.
Nice.
We round up, it's 70, so that's good.
Okay. The points off the bench, 32 there. Points in the paint, 44. And just did a great job on Saturday of outscoring the team from Western Illinois. Any final comments on that one, fellas?
I didn't get to see or watch. We listened to it on the way down, but once I heard it was 29-9, the boys wanted to listen to Christmas music, so I was like, go Yotes. So glad to see they continue to steamroll them.
Undefeated at home. The other thing to mention.
8-0. Good point, Mark. 8-0.
Now, Caleb Stewart did not play on Saturday. Okay. Caleb Stewart was on the program. And so for those of you that are following along, okay, I don't know why I keep these programs right next to my computer here, but Caleb Stewart was on the program, but he did not play. And I don't know if we ever received official word with what he was out with, Mark. Did we receive that?
An ankle, I believe, in the previous game, late in the game. He actually came back in and played, but then was in a boot. So I don't know what the prognosis is, but hopefully not long.
Yeah, we hope you're back soon, Caleb. It was fun, waving the programs at you, and I know you really enjoyed that. But we hope that he's back soon. He just adds another dynamic threat on the offensive end for the Yotes. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the women's team. And we mentioned earlier the women had a rough week here, losing to UNI as well as Wyoming. Points are just hard to come by here for the Yotes. And so the UNI game, Grace Larkins had 17 and 10 rebounds. Alexi Hempy had 10, and Adara Groman had 10 points as well. But, struggling a little bit from 3-point range, shooting 34% there. Just not getting any production off the bench, 13 points, only 5 second chance points, and not a whole lot going there. Against Wyoming on this afternoon, Grace Larkins finished with 12 points and 12 rebounds, and Carly Duffney had 7, but really other than that, no one else could really score the basketball, as they say. 29%. I think we started off 0 for 5 from 3-pointer the first quarter there, and just not really getting anything, but just need more production from the bench and need some more production inside for the Yotes. Is that a fair assessment, gentlemen?
A couple things stick out there is not only are we not making shots, we're not getting offensive rebounds and giving ourselves a second chance. So second chance points are basically 0. We get out rebounded every game. The team as it's currently constructed, we have to make threes to win games. And unfortunately, these last 2, we didn't do that. So they got
to Mark's point, 7 offensive rebounds against UNI, and let me double check it. I think it was 8. Yeah, 8 offensive rebounds against Wyoming, and Wyoming had 38 defensive rebounds. So, yeah, with the way the team's constructed, we can't miss that many shots because we're just not getting. We don't have the size right now to. It depends on the matchup, obviously, but going against bigger teams, it's just not going to work out well. Exhibit A against Wyoming.
Yeah.
It's a talented team. We just got to, keep working on the shots. Shots got to fall. Good looks. Did they the Wyoming game today? Were they good looks, Mark?
Oh yeah, plenty of good looks, open looks.
Okay.
We weren't taking contested threes by any stretch, but we just could not. We could not make one. So
they'll come, right? We've got faith. It's a really talented team. It's a well-coached team. We just gotta make the shots. And Coyote fans, keep the faith with the women's basketball team. We got to go through this with them. Don't jump ship.
Well, this week, coming up in USD Athletics, football, as we mentioned, plays at Montana State. That's 2:30 on December 21st, Saturday. Men's basketball is on the road this week as well. So you can see on Thursday, they're at Utah Tech, which is formerly known as
Dixie State.
Dixie State, okay. And then Saturday, they'll play at Santa Clara at 4 p.m. So a little bit of a trip west. Not like last year where they were out in California for an entire week during Christmas. This one's just a couple-day trip out there. And then the women's basketball team is going to be at home this week. So we really need to get out there and support the Yotes if you're around. They play Wednesday versus Mount Marty at home, 7 p.m. And then Friday nights versus South Dakota Mines at home at 7 p.m. as well. So get out to the SCSC and support the women if you're able to.
And it should be a good week for men's basketball. Can you go back to so Utah Tech, I just looked it up. Take this for what you will with net rankings, but Utah Tech is 299 in the net and Santa Clara is 79. So they should win handily with Utah Tech. Santa Clara is going to be a good match. That's a good win. I don't know what the whole quad win things are, but Santa Clara is a pretty good team this year.
So do you want me to explain how quad wins work? Is that what you're saying? Or
no, I get it. I just don't know like the different whatever. I don't want to think about it. All I know is it'd be a great win in the non-con to finish out non-con because then they have a long break until the first week of January when conference starts. I'm sorry, the preseason before conference starts.
Right.
I think that's just a volleyball thing, Jordan. I don't think that's actually in basketball.
Can we make it everything? I kind of like it.
We'll see what we can do.
All right.
Well, let's go ahead and get out and cheer the Yotes this week, and make sure you're supporting them, following along on the road, and be ready. We'll be back next week, as I mentioned, to discuss everything. But before we come back next week, we need to get to
and that's just what they wanted to do there. And all things considered, again, as you see the eye chart cardboard cut, how appropriate.
Through the review, the eye chart made its way to the video board. It really injected some energy.
For those of you that are aware, Mark Wendt is famous or infamous for holding up that eye chart at basketball games when officials make questionable calls. So we are going to go ahead and share our eye chart moments of the week from questionable calls that happened either in games or in life. Mark, do you have the results of last week's eye chart of the week poll to see how we did?
Last week's winner, Tarleton State Barstool guy, for allegedly getting into some trouble at a downtown establishment, and a tie for second between NIU women basketball officials and other teams fans worried about our attendance. Came in second with 16.7% of the vote.
Okay. All right. Well, Mark, I believe you were the winner, so you want to go first this week?
I will. So my eye chart of the week goes to a father from a unknown location during his, I assume, his son's wrestling tournament, and we have some video here. And I'm not a wrestling guy. I don't, know what call was made or what caused Dad to step in here, but we'll see it coming here.
You got to be kidding me.
You can't do that. You have to be better than that. Be an example to your kid. Like, I don't know. So whoever that dude is, wherever he is, he gets my eye chart of the week.
Wow. That's the first time I've seen that, Mark. That was
ridiculous.
Yeah. Jordan, you go next.
Well, once again, I had a week where nothing really bothered me all that much. So like I mentioned right before we went on, I guess my eye chart of the week goes to national FCS media members that all of a sudden decided to flip everything that they had picked the Yotes that were being successful, especially against Tarleton State and whatnot, all the praise that we had gotten from them, just randomly out of the blue, just going, you know what, UC Davis is going to win this week. And a few of them just not even having anything other than, I just don't want to go chalk to the semis. So nothing against them. Like a lot of those guys in their podcasts and their articles, they do a great job, but I think it was the reasoning behind why they picked UC Davis over USD. I don't mind if you want to pick upsets, but to just completely disregard what the Yote offense and defense had done throughout the entire year and just go, yeah, I just don't want to go chalk. So how do I shorten that with for the tweet? I guess it would be FCS media picking against us. Can you fit that in the option?
Working on it right now.
All right. Stay tuned.
All right. Well, I'm gonna throw this out there. My eye chart of the week is going to go to the college football campus tour guy. How can you come to a game at the Dome and not meet with Chad Berger, Mark Wendt, and Jordan Decker? I had slid into the DMs, asked him if he wanted to get together and meet, and no response as of yet. So a little bit disappointed in how this all turned out. We appreciate you coming to the Dome and covering the Yotes UC Davis game on Saturday. But eye chart of the week for not responding to a direct message on Twitter.
That's a good one. He took a badass picture. Did you see that picture he took with the red?
Ooh, yeah. It's really good.
If you I would love to get that next year for either D-Days or the State U game. We can get that shot when it's red in there and have it full, and then we can get those panoramic pictures that they have a bunch of other schools for at like Shields. We can get a USD one there. Oh man, put that in the man cave.
No, that's a great pick. And I should mention too, if anybody out there, that's a great pick.
We got to get the fan to do the cell phone thing. More people to do that. Maybe have a tutorial. We can do that next year in an episode. Show people how to turn on their flashlight on their phone.
Oh, all right. Well, any last comments here tonight, gentlemen?
Super excited for Saturday. Let's finish it. Why not? Go Yotes.
Why not us? I agree. Yeah. No, great week. I shared a tweet, retweeted Travis Tice, but during his last touchdown on Saturday, this is going back with student athletes being involved, and the impact they can make too. My oldest too, we're trying different sports out, right? Trying to find what he really loves. And for parents that know, like with electronics, that was the first game where he didn't ask to go on a phone to like just play a game or something. He was super into it. Anyways, the last touchdown Travis scores, he turns to me and he's like, I want to play football like that guy. And I was like, all right. Because then he saw the replay on the screen and he's like, I want to play football like that guy. So shout out to the football players. You guys do a lot more than make a difference on the field. There's a lot of young kids out there that look up to you. And I've told Jaron Duffy this, but I love the program with the single sheet. I mentioned that last week. The boys put them up in their room, and those are guys that they look up to. So go Yotes, man.
Go Yotes. All right. Well, excellent show tonight. For Jordan Decker, for Mark Wendt, I'm Chad Berger. Until next time, go Yotes.
Go Yotes, guys.